Welcome to this week's episode of Your Stock Request for the 22nd of March. Every week I'll look at the charts for a few different stocks as requested by you. Just email us at mail@fairmontequities.com. There is a limit of one per person and no guarantee that your stock will be covered depending on the demand. Also, just make sure you share this video on social media. The more requests we get, the more chance we have to uncover something that's quite interesting for everyone else. Also, just take note of our disclaimer, any advice here is general only. First stock we have is Orocobre, ORE. This is a daily chart. Even if I just move out to a weekly chart, what you will notice is the sell-off over the last few months, and clearly the formation of a few lower highs and lower lows. So coming back to the daily chart, I had a couple of clients in this and told them to get out several weeks ago. I just don't like the way this one's trading here. Obviously we've got these sort of sell-offs, sort of struggles to go higher, gets sold off again, and even just in the last few days on this daily chart, I'll zoom into this, but you'll notice the price rejection here. So look, overall it's just looking a bit weak for the time being. Probably you'll get a bit of support here near 550, but at the moment there's just nothing that's telling me that we need to be buying it at these levels. Okay, next one is Blue Sky. They've recently done a capital raising. You'll notice there's a fairly flat three-wave correction here. So if we look at the weekly chart, we can see it's at this big run up, and now it's done what's referred to as a fairly flat ABC correction. So it seems okay around these levels. I can't remember the raising price, but we're sort of thereabouts. So I think it could find a bit of support here. But yeah, we'll just have to see how this one goes. So I'd be happy to hold it. As I said, if we've got this big sort of flat three-wave, then we might be seeing a bit of support come in. So not massively bullish, but looks okay for a hold at the moment. AFG, again, this one's a bit sort of neutral, I think, in that there's clearly an uptrend there. But the sell-offs are getting a little bit more impulsive. So if we ignore the intra-week low, we still have higher lows. But you'll notice that, if we look back here, we can see, so this is 2016, we can see a decent move up, fairly flat correction, decent move, another flat correction, again, fairly flat. But then earlier this year, the pullback was pretty sharp, then had a massive jump with another sharp pullback. So starting to give me, I guess, a few danger signs that the recent run might be about to end. Okay, GSC, sorry about that. Let's get back to it. GSC, not one that I've heard of before. Clearly it's gone up quite a bit in the last year, from about 5 cents to 50 cents. Not really much to add here. I mean, the trend is still looking strong. Maybe we can point to, this is a daily chart, bit of divergence with the RSI. Nothing to be too worried about. Yeah, look, at the moment, I'd say the trend is still looking strong. So, no problems with this one at the moment. MQA, getting close to an interesting junction here. So it looked like it was forming a rising wedge, and it broke out of that earlier this year, and now it's sort of trying to rally back up. So obviously we need to see what it does at this point. If it sort of fails, that's a danger sign. It could come all the way back to the base of the wedge here, just over $4. Otherwise, if it can recover, that's a good sign. But yeah, we just need to see what this one does. This is a weekly chart. We need to see what it does in the next few days around that, that resistance line. Santos, still like the look of this one. We've had a few charts on it over the last year and it's done quite well. It's got close to our resistance level and has pulled back in 3 waves. But I think this one's ready to head higher, to be honest. So we could see the pullback here. It initially jumped off that low point. So I've gone to a daily chart now. What have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So essentially a 7-day rally here, and then it's taken about a month to ease back to retest that low, a higher low, and so far it's bouncing off that. I've just noticed that, yeah, if we try to draw a trend line here, it's trying to break that. So I think, in the next couple of days, if it does show that it does want to hold up at these levels and even close above 520, I'd be pretty content that this thing's going to resume the uptrend. So it'll look like a buying opportunity. VMX, again, I'm not familiar with the company, seems to be trading okay. It doesn't look like it was massively liquid there for a while, but since the middle of last year, it's had a decent run. Volumes coming in. So look, again, it's not one I can really add too much about. It's making higher highs, higher lows. Looks okay. Okay, BWP. I'll just move out to a weekly. Ultimately, I think this one's still just base building. So it's had this massive drop in 2016, made a low about a year ago, bounced off that, but was sold off pretty heavily, sort of rounded out here and looked like it was going to get going, and I think it overtook this high by about 1 cent, but just not a very good sell-off here. It would have been nice to have seen it sort of flatten out, but again, it's just got sold off pretty sharply. Volume came in at this low point, but although it's made, I guess, a higher high and a higher low since this point, it's just not looking massively bullish. So yeah, a bit neutral on this one, unfortunately. I think it's just going to keep heading sideways until I can see something that's a bit more constructive. Sydney Airport, we looked at this one several weeks ago fundamentally, and from a charting point of view, I was looking at cheaper levels and it's still falling, so I'm not in a massive rush to buy it. We could see this, so this is a weekly chart. So that was the peak in 2016, fell away, just managed to breach this peak, but was sold down pretty sharply. So that tells me there's a good chance it'll retest this low. And the way it's been trading hasn't maybe changed that view. So I think it's going to head back towards this low near $6. And finally, Mesoblast. Looks interesting. I did a video for the Finance News Network on this one only a few weeks ago, where I noted the big jump here on volume, and I was looking for an initial move to just over $2 where it should hit resistance, and then after that it should then go higher. So the first part, it sort of followed the script. It went just over $2 and was sold off. I am a bit surprised that it has come back as deep as this. So I still think there's upside, I just don't think we're going to see that upside as quickly as I first hoped. Basically, the move here is still quite impulsive. This is a daily chart. There has been generally lower volume on the way down, and it looks like we've got a 5-wave decline. So if we start here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Seems to be a bit of support, I think, around these levels. So given that this is a 5-wave decline, I don't think that the next move up is going to see Mesoblast take out this high straight away. I think what will happen is we need to see it use up a bit more time. So if I just shift things along a bit, I think what we could see is probably a, maybe more like a more, I guess a longer 3-wave, and then once it's done that, we could see a fairly decent rally. So the next rally with Mesoblast, if you don't have patience, I think if it takes you back up towards that 190-ish level, you can exit there and look to re-enter later on. Otherwise, if you're happy just to leave it, I think give it several weeks. We'll see something like this develop, and then we can get a fairly decent rally. I'm not saying 230, but we'll get a fairly decent move. All right, well that's it for this week. So as a reminder, send in your requests. Make sure you get in for next week, and also do the right thing with your friends and share this video.